Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Hey, don't mind the disaster. It's the way the bench gets when you're working on stuff. So, we're gonna do a little bit of a reassembly for you guys for a video for this Jeep body for my RS10. And so we've got our back trailer hitch on, the bumper, my homemade license plate I made out of a piece of brass plate, and I actually used a Q-tip with some white paint and just smeared over the whole area. I engraved my name, actually, well, short form, Kevy, because everybody likes to call me Kevy. So I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but I will definitely give you guys a real good outdoor view when it's all assembled. But using the Q-tip after you've engraved onto something like brass, you just take Q-tip with some white paint or whatever color you're going to use, and just go around it, go around it, go around it, and then use the dry end, go around it so it all comes off, and it'll push the paint right into your lettering that you've done. So, neat little trick for you. So anyway, we've got the tail lights on. Of course, these ones that had the push pin, they pushed all the way in. So I had to break the pins off, drilled some holes. So they were already, drilled before I painted. So that's all good to go. And I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a test to show you where I'm at so far with how things are looking. So we'll just plug in one of our tail lights here. Oh. Come on. Maybe if I hold them together. There we go. Ah, you little bugger. Okay, there we go. So we got one tail light. Now I decided to go with ultra bright lights for the tail lights because they're nice and bright and they're going to show through that dark red tail light really well. I'm not going to bother with the marker lights because there's no way to put lights into them. And the only thing I could do is maybe glue a light bulb up inside here and they would light up, but that's just not required. This is one of our headlights. So there's one of our headlights lit up. Lights up pretty good. So, give you an idea how bright these things can really get outside of the casings. That's pretty bright. And that's what I got in all four of them. So, headlights are installed. I got wires in them. The radio's installed, the dashboard's back in. I decided to go with an on and off switch and a LiPo battery to power everything. And the LiPo battery and all the wiring that comes up through here is going to be hidden inside the aluminum looking toolbox. So you won't see any of it coming out other than my charge port cable. It's the only thing you're going to see coming out, because the way I'm going to wire everything up, the switch will be able to turn the lights on and off, and when they're off it will bypass the battery so that it'll allow me to charge the battery without affecting any of my lighting system. So that's the idea behind it, and that'll work good, which means what I got to do in order to do that is I go direct into the battery wires like so. Well, positive to positive and negative to negative. So I'll splice into the casings and basically make like a connector here. So this will be my connector that plugs into the main power, and then this is going to be my charge port. So I'll have a second cable like this inside hidden that plugs in. So this way if I ever do need to change the battery, I don't have much to remove and it'll be pretty easy to remove everything. So everything's going to be basically like a plug and go system, right? So we'll show you all that funked out wiring once we get it all done, because right now I still got to run my headlight wires. My tail lights, these JST connectors with their wires on them are nice and long, so backlights went in really sweet. These ones I got to lengthen more, so what I'm going to do is take another one of these, well actually two of these connectors, should be about, let's see, do I have enough? Oh, I might have to take a little bit more. So I'll take a couple of these, or some other wire. Regardless, I'll have some wiring going through because I want to be able to tuck this down out of the way, fasten it through, and then feed it along the chassis, and then probably port it right on the inside somehow so I can fish it all in. But one way or another, it's all going to go up and into the aluminum box, and that'll be fine. I'm leaving the wood boxes off. They're kind of obstructing the view of the camera anyhow. So by the time you get the guys sitting inside, just pop these guys in here for a second. By the time you get them in, and our cage and all that gets on, I've got enough room I can reach in and turn my headlights on and off without any difficulty. So that's going to be like thumbs up. So I wish I had a little bit bigger scale drivers though, but I'm even pushing the length with these a little bit. But it would be nice to have a driver that could actually drive the stupid thing, but I don't think I'm going to get away with that. So that's okay though. It all works out. It's all good. So I'll do some of my wiring, get that set up. But you got an idea how the wiring is being routed, and you know, these JST connectors, you can buy them really super cheap. You get them in kits of 10. You could get them in kits of 2 depending on where you buy them. I buy mine at Banggood, and they're really super cheap even for the kit of 10. And so it gives you what, 10 of each, male and female, or 5 of each, male, female. Anyway, you get a whack load. So I just buy a bunch of them at a time because the JSTs are nice. They get out of your way. You know, you don't have to worry about anything. And so they're kind of really convenient that way. But anyways, yeah, so we'll get this wired up. And then we'll come back and show you the lights working on and off. That sort of jazz. And then we're going to have to put our guys back in and put the cage on top, put the bumper on still. I still got to do the front bumper. Now the front bumper actually had New Bright written on the front, and I hadn't even noticed until I was like, oh wait, that's got to go. So I've got one of these knives here that I use for heating up and cutting plastic with. So I just heated the tip really super hot. It took a few times, but then you just lightly stroke it across as best as you can, and bye-bye New Bright, not even a trace left behind. So I could actually use this plate area now for something else if I want to. So, but yeah, so I guess the front bumper is going to be, oh, actually I could do that while I've got you on camera right now. I'll put the front bumper on. Go. Oh, nice and snug. There we go. Oh, front bumper's on. Starting to look pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go play around with wires. I would put that stuff on camera, but I'd rather try and keep the video as short as possible so, you know, you guys can still figure it out easy enough. You got to put positives to positives, negatives to negatives. I mean, you know, it's pretty simple, basic stuff when it comes to LED bulbs, you know. I've got to put a dab of hot glue on each one of these to make sure they stay secure, and then I can still start running my wiring and continue on. So we'll be back. Don't go away. For you, it'll be instantaneous. Okay guys, just a little bit of a next part here. I've got my JSTs wired in. I've got them glued down in place, wires extended and routed, and everything's coming through these two areas here. Now these were they were, I guess, part of some posts for suspension or the body or something at one time. Anyway, so these holes they come through the top, and they're all covered up by the container. So now I've got to go through all my wires up top and connect them all, run my switch in. I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to put the charge cable hole on the box next, and get that wired in. And I may or may not do this, but I'm thinking really serious about it, is rerouting my power switch from my crawler and putting a JST connector on it to give it some length, but also I'm going to drill out the hole or cut the hole open for the shifter here, and put the on and off power switch for the crawler there, because I really don't need to take the body off the crawler, but if I have to, I can take it off, unplug the JST connector, body comes off free and clear of the crawler, and then I can work on my crawler, no biggie. And makes it easier, because right now I have to leave my power switch on all the time and then just plug my battery, you know, in when I need it and unplug it when I don't. And but I thought it'd be kind of cool to actually have an on and off switch there. So this one here actually controls my lights, and the one here is going to control the power for the crawler. So I'm still thinking whether or not I'm going to do that. I may not. You will find out by the end of this video if I've done it or not. So there you go. So our next part is to do up all these wires and run our connectors for our charger. I've got to actually disconnect the power cable off the battery I'm going to be using, and so I'm going to have to cut it about up around this area, snap it off, and then wire on the JST to it, rewire everything, heat shrink tube it to protect it, and this will sit inside the box with all the wires, and then my JST will come out through the container here for being able to recharge the battery when I need to. So we will be back. Okay guys, so I've got our wiring mostly done. I still have to make a Y adapter. I've actually decided not to cut into the battery cable. I'm going to go with making a Y adapter system off of this so that I can just unplug the battery. Less hassle. But I've got my hole drilled in the box, wires coming through, and I'll have to get a connector going here. And this is going to be my charge port that can be tucked out of the way. I can push it right in out of the way, and then it'll only pull out about this far because I've tied a knot in the wire. So that's all good to go. So I thought I'd just show you a test. I found a resistor that actually works really well, that cuts down just enough voltage. These bulbs run maximum about 3.7 volts, and even once you get 4 of them in there, they're still going to be good for quite a while. But they can burn, so you got to reduce the voltage, like even by a volt. So I just, going through resistors and took my best guess and found a resistor that seemed to knock it down just a hair, and I still got really nice bright lights. So there's my tail lights lit up. There's my on and off switch. Okay, headlights are still going to be pretty bright, so that's good. So I'm still going to have some nice bright lights for driving around at night with. And it's not much of a difference, just by pulling back that extra volt. So we still got pretty bright lights. Because if you look at it in your own eyes, that's still like, that hurts the eyeballs. So they're still good and bright. So next is to make our JST Y adapter. I'm actually going to move the body out of the way, actually in a safer place. I still got to cover the ends of the other wires with shrink tube or something. But, so now I've got to make an adapter that is going to come off of this end, go to male and female setups. So I got lots of, well, I wouldn't say lots, but I got a few of these suckers left. I should have more than enough pieces. Yep, that's the end of my supply. Guess I'm going to be ordering more of these in from China soon. So anyways, so I've got a couple of adapters left here, which should give me just enough to make my Y adapter. And I can put it all in, and the box will close it off, and we'll show you what that looks like after that's all done. So we'll be back. Okay guys, so I got it wired. I know what I got to do, other than shorten some wires obviously. But I've got a plug going. This is my main power into my harness. It goes in, and then the other end of its wires go to each wire here, which will then go back into the system through here. My battery goes like so, plugs in, and on and off switch. So now when this power switch is off, it cancels out all power able to go to the lights. So then when I hook in my battery charger, charge up my battery, power goes direct in the battery. So now this way, if I ever need to change out my LiPo, I can just unplug it, plug in a new one, hide it inside, away I go again. So everything's going to be self-contained and hidden away. So I'm going to have to shorten these wires up, and like I said, heat shrink tube stuff, and we'll close up the box, get it all fastened in, and continue on. Okay guys, she's all sealed in. Got my charge cable. I can just push it in like this. It'll stay to a degree. But tail lights, headlights. Awesome. So, leftover parts for modding. I got 3 male plugs. One female. All it needs a female and a male. So I think I'm going to maybe consider that power switch now. So, but I'll be back in a couple of minutes, of course, you know, instantaneously for you, but I'm going to think about it for another minute, and if I decide to put it in, then I will show you that already ready to rock and roll. So, but otherwise I'm going to keep going with the rest of this. So, but we now have our self-contained unit. I actually replaced the screw with a better screw, a little bit longer. Holds everything nice and snug now. So the LiPo battery's in here, all the wire, my charge cable comes right out. So whenever I need to recharge that battery for the lights. So that's sweet. So we're making some pretty good progress with this thing. So we'll be back with some more. Okay guys, the Jeep's all back and assembled. Got my camera in there too, sitting back there. Spare tire, trailer hitch, the fuel cans as I call them. Like I said, I was leaving the boxes out this time. I was going to move into a different spot, but I said, nah. You know, my charge cable, of course, you can see down there. So I can recharge my battery. The switch for my lighting system between the two guys. Just turn this around. And I did camo the windshield framing. This windshield is pretty much done for, so I've got to leave it down when we do videos anyways with the FPV cam. But I got the radio remounted, dashboards in, rock and roll. There's our headlights. Tow rope up front this time. Tail lights. personalized license plate that says Kevy. I actually did an engraving on a piece of brass plate, and then I took a Q-tip with some white paint and smeared it all over the brass plate to dig the white paint into the grooves of my name there. And then of course it cleans the plate as it goes with the dry end of the Q-tip, and voila, nice little first license plate anyway for me. I'm actually going to pick up the letter number punch kits, so then pound out some better plates, of course. I haven't put anything back up on the top of the rack yet, still thinking about that, and you know, I'm changing a few things around here, so I still got to put the scale shovel or shovels on the machine, but I opted out for the power switch for the crawler. For the time being, I'm not going to use a power switch inside the body to control the crawler, so for now I've left that alone. But I've definitely at least got my switch for my lighting, and it's on separate power, and I've got a charge port, so, and everything's hidden underneath the box. Now just to give you a real good underside view here, how I did all my wiring, JST connectors, real easy to change the light bulbs, snaked the wiring around the frame here, and I did both sides the same way. So that's not going to get hurt by anything. So yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at with our RS10 Jeep body and getting the repair done now. So you got a really good look outside. Don't know how well I saw it in the other video, but this is the repaired fender side, and the paint job hides it actually pretty good, you know, for the most part. You know, you can tell it's been repaired when you compare it against the other front fender, you know, but at least it hit it really well. And I think having the tow rope on the front is actually a little bit better. I'm going to try and snug it up a little bit more, you know, but otherwise, as soon as I get my body posts in for the crawler, we can slap this sucker together and take her out for a run and see what she looks like otherwise. Now I did add a small clip in here too at the end of the video, so don't go away yet, but just to show what the view angle is like with those boxes out of the way now. It's much better, I find, you know, for seeing through. So we'll see how it does trail wise, because now I've got my camera set to about 135 degrees for the angle, because I can change it between 90 and 135. The 135 seems to be the best. But so anyways, check that little piece out, and we'll see you in the next video, and have fun.